Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners, a television podcast for the true fanatics. I'm your host, Swanson, and with me, as always, is my co-host and big bad wolf, Kiorein.
Wolf. R. That's the sound a wolf makes, right?
Yeah, they say their name and then R, like a pirate.
Yes.
Wolves and pirates are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, like pirates are out on the ocean hunting things, and wolves are out in the wilderness hunting things. Same idea.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, that's all who's here today. No one else.
Yeah, rest in peace, Stairmaster.
Yeah, we put him under the jail.
Oh, I thought he died.
No, I just jailed him.
Oh. Well, you were talking like he was dead, like you were saying.
He's dead to me.
Oh, okay. You were saying we're not going to be seeing him again.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll never see him again, ever.
Oh, okay. So he's basically dead. That's... Okay, there we go.
Well, what is jail but like a, mental death?
I mean, I guess you get out in a while and you can be okay afterwards.
No.
Are you saying that you put him in, like, solitary and he's going to be broken after he gets out?
Well, I mean, I put him in a place by himself. So, yes.
Okay, well, I don't really care.
Oh, cool. Neither do I. All right. Did you watch anything interesting this week, Keith?
I did not.
I mean, I didn't really watch anything out of the ordinary. I finished Daredevil Season 3. That's good.
Oh, yeah? Did it make you smile?
Yeah, it was all right. The finale was like a little meh.
Did you give it thumbs up?
I would give it the thumbs up, yes. It's probably on par with Season 1 of Daredevil.
But did you physically give it thumbs up?
Like, while I was watching it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I normally do that.
Well, that's unusual. I do.
Just like anytime you're watching something good, you just give it a big old thumbs up.
Yeah, and I nod and smile while I do so.
That seems like a weird thing to do when you're just like by yourself.
It's an expression of joy, Swanson. Try it sometime.
I hate joy.
Yeah, I've never seen you smile, never seen you laugh. You're just a pile of bad emotions.
That's what my mom always says.
Well, try laughing right now. Let's see what it's like. Well, that was more of like... Okay, okay. I think... Oh. That was like a kind of maniacal laugh.
You're right, this is fun.
Oh, okay. What have I unleashed here?
I guess only time will tell, pal. Let's talk about the news.
You gonna start doing evil science now?
Well, I'm gonna do regular science, and I guess we'll find out whether or not I consider it to be evil. Or the world, I guess. Oh, boy.
I'm ready for news.
Okay. All right. You know what I love?
I don't think you love anything.
Well, I love myself.
Okay, so you love yourself. What's the next news story?
You know what else I love?
There's another thing? Okay, tell me.
America's favorite television show, The Walking Dead.
Ugh.
I actually don't love that show, but, recently the show said goodbye to its star, Rick Grimes.
Oh, they killed him off?
You could say that.
So he's alive, but he's not on the show?
That would be the more accurate way of saying it, yes.
How do you do that with Walking Dead?
So, for backstory for people who might not be in the know, of course, The Walking Dead recently started its 9th season, which has been promoting as the final season for Rick Grimes. He left 5 episodes in, so not really the final complete season, but But, yeah, it was the gist of it, because I didn't watch the episode, so I'm going to just sort of give a little rundown here of what happened on this episode. He got impaled on a, steel beam, or like I forget what you call those. Like the ones that, yes, a girder. And managed to, get himself off of that by himself.
And he survived.
Yep. He did some other stuff. He like led a horde of zombies somewhere.
Well, how did he... Swanson, how did he do that?
I don't know, man. He leads them onto a bridge, which he blows up. I'm assuming it's been established before that he could blow it up. I don't know. And like the people, his people who were coming to help him, see him on the bridge as it blows up and assume he is dead, but he is actually rescued by some lady who also has friends in a helicopter, and they fly away together.
That doesn't make any sense, Swanson. I'm sorry. You need to put that back and redo it.
You need... What do you mean?
Like, you need to remake the show because you did a bad job.
I didn't make this episode.
You didn't?
No, I wish. I'd be rich.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't make any sense. I don't know if it was the way you were describing it. So he got impaled. So basically he was in a situation where he needed to be hospitalized. But instead he just climbs off the beam and just goes on an adventure instead?
Yes. The literal description calls him critically wounded and weak. But he rides a horse.
And I guess they just... How is he going to survive that in post-apocalyptic time when there's, like, no modern medicine around?
He did. That's how.
Okay.
So
and he
anyway...
just leaves on a helicopter.
Yep, and the show cuts to 6 years later, and it shows his now preteen daughter leading the new group of survivors, I guess. But what about Rick? What's Rick going to do now, Kiorein? I know you're very interested.
Isn't he going to go back to the people he supposedly cares about?
Nope. We're getting a series of standalone TV movies about Rick that are going to be airing on AMC sometime in the future.
Why?
So we can find out what happened to him.
I don't care. I don't care. Aren't we supposed to be caring about the people who we left behind?
Well, he doesn't, so why should we?
Oh, that's a good point. If he doesn't care, why would I?
Yeah, he, I mean, presumably the first of these movies maybe explains why he doesn't just go find his family in 6 fucking years.
He's too busy having brand new adventures.
That we'll find about here in detail.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't care anymore, to be honest.
Well, it seems like they might be slowly running out of ideas. The press release describes this as part of an expanded universe, which is 2 words that I love hearing together because they always mean bad idea.
Yeah, it's an expanded universe in terms of it has the same character from the same show, but in a different location.
Yeah, that's really expanding the universe. I mean, don't you want to know what zombies are like in, I don't know, London?
It's like we have America here, but in the expanded universe, we also have England.
Yeah, right? Like, oh, well, you've seen zombies in America, but how about zombies in Mexico?
And other countries are expanded universe.
Well, when you think about it, yeah. When you travel abroad, aren't you expanding your horizons?
You're right. You're making the universe get bigger.
Like, I'm gonna travel. If I'm gonna travel to Japan, aren't I just really downloading the DLC for Earth?
That's a really positive, plugged-in, millennial way of thinking about that.
Well, what can I say? I'm a plugged-in type of guy. The press release goes on to say some of the stories will relate to The Walking Dead as fans know it, whatever that means, while others will be standalone stories that break into new creative territory.
Like what? Are they saying it's gonna have zombies, or is it gonna have Rick saying like, "Remember
mummies.
that time I was back there with my friends and there were zombies"?
I feel like I don't know what this means that they're gonna break into new creative territory. It's a zombie show. What new can you do? Like, is Rick gonna find, like, an ancient tomb and summon, like, Dio?
Maybe there are gonna be mummies.
Oh, man, I thought zombies were bad. Look at the mummies.
Yeah, like, I imagine some of the mummies would have, like, brain powers.
Yeah. Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes, said of this new expansion and presumably getting a metric shit ton of money to make these movies. It's not the beginning of the end, it's the end of the beginning. And I like the idea that we get to tell a bigger story, maybe with a sort of wider vista. And I've always been interested in what's going on out there, whether or not there's contact with the wider world.
That was a whole lot of nothing, wasn't it?
It sure was. He ended it by saying maybe it's the start of a bigger story.
Walking Dead goes global.
What kind of adventures would you want to see Rick Grimes get up to, Keo? I feel like Mummies is pretty good. I would watch it. I would watch it, actually, if they were like Rick Grimes versus the Mummy.
Oh, what if he goes to Australia and they have vampires there?
Oh, all right, yeah. And, because he's in Australia, he gets a knife. But then, one of the vampires is like, that's not a knife. This is a knife. And then he, bites him or something.
And he's too confused to respond to it.
Yeah.
And he's a vampire from then on, I guess.
No, it's not really brought up again.
So he gets bitten, and it's just not a plot point.
Yeah. Vampires can just bite people, You're not really a vampire if you just get bitten.
They can choose whether or not they're going to make you a vampire.
Right. Well, they have to suck out a certain amount of blood or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they can explain it away. You can make up your own vampire rules. There's no set rules for it.
Yeah, I mean, why do people always have to follow the same rules? You can make up rules for zombies, too. Instead of biting, they lick you.
That's a lot less scary.
I don't know. For me, it sounds scarier. Just a bunch of undead creatures licking me.
I mean, only if they have, giant, dangerous tongues.
Well, yeah, of course. Why else? The better to lick.
Okay, if it's that kind of tongue, yeah, that is scary. But, I mean, you can't go wrong with biting, though. That's awful.
Yeah. I guess I would.
Gentle bites. Gentle, sensual zombie bites.
Just little, nibbles on you.
Yeah, just soft little bites.
That sounds sensual, not scary.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd be into.
That'd be a good Walking Dead vista.
Yes, that'd be a whole new vista. Whatever vista we're sure to get, I probably won't care.
Yeah, I doubt there's going to be anything interesting coming out of this. At least it'll be different from what Walking Dead's been, which has just been going on for just way too long.
Yeah, I guess it could potentially be interesting, especially if they have a bunch of money they're going to throw at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so pathetic and sad when you have to see these people reuse the same characters and things like that. It's just you got to have the market name Walking Dead behind it, or no one's going to want it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's completely. Yeah, that's who wants to watch anything else. But other than the same people doing roughly the same thing, but this time in different locations. Because I would love to be proven wrong, but I get the idea that what's going to happen in at least the first of these stories is Rick Grimes tries to figure out what's going on in this new location he's in. All the people around him probably die, and then he moves on.
He's just oh man, I don't like this, I'm leaving.
Moves on, probably on a horse, because he's some weird southern cowboy type of deal at this point. But he still wears a sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
Even though it means nothing.
I mean, the only thing that can make it interesting is if it has a totally different tone somehow, like it's a fun show or something.
No, I don't think. It's never been a fun show.
Yeah, well, he's going to go to a different location where it's fun, and it's going to be great.
Speaking of shows that aren't known for being fun, House of Cards recently had its final season released on Netflix, I think last week. Just this past Friday. The final season, of course, had some, let's say, troubled production because star Kevin Spacey had some, problems.
Oh?
He's a rapist.
Is that what we call having problems now?
I mean, yeah, that's some problems. I guess those are problems.
Has a bit of a rape problem.
He has a bit of a problem of making a lot of unwanted sexual advances on people. Is that more nuanced? I don't know.
A little bit.
Anyway, the producers of the show obviously decided to boot him off the series, and they killed off his character, Frank Underwood. The problem being, of course, that's the main character of the show.
Yeah, so how'd the show carry on without him? What happened?
Well, his wife, Claire Underwood, took over, and she became the lady president, first lady president.
Did she win?
You mean like at the end of the show, did she win?
Yeah, did she get the big trophy?
Yeah, she won. She won the House of Cards. But the showrunners, once the whole thing was released, decided to air out how they were planning on killing off Frank during these times. Because apparently in the show, they just sort of mention that he's dead. We sort of start in media res of him being dead.
He's dead.
That's the first word said. So the quote, one of the producers said that they had some ideas like, Claire could be snuffing out Frank with a pillow over the face.
That's dramatic.
An act of God or karma, he could be hit by a train, or an air conditioner falling out of the sky.
That's a really legitimate way to kill somebody.
This is, imagine like a very serious show that just has an air conditioner fall out of the sky and kill off its lead.
Yeah, I would not be able to take it seriously anymore.
Who is the president of the United States, I would like to add.
Yeah, they don't have anybody making sure he's walking somewhere safe or anything like that.
Well, it's just falling out of the sky. Who knows where the air conditioner came from?
Wait, literally the sky?
He's just like sitting on the White House lawn, soaking in the rays, as the presidents do.
I think the whole season would be about figuring out how that happened.
Who assassinated the president via air conditioner?
Sky air conditioner, no less.
Yeah.
That'd be like a mystery thriller type story.
I would watch that, probably over whatever they ended up doing in the season of the show, because I heard it wasn't good. But this led me down an interesting road, Kiorein. What kind of like Looney Tunes type antics would you like to see used for the death of Frank Underwood?
Is it Looney Tunes to have him die mid-rape from a heart attack?
No, I think that would be accurate, probably.
Yeah, I don't think they
from
went
a
through
heart
Looney Tunes
attack,
on that
huh?
think of it.
His heart explodes.
Yeah.
You know what I would want to see? What if like a giant piano fell on his head?
And then like he has like the piano keys like, in his mouth.
Yeah, like the case opens up and he's got the piano keys all in his mouth.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Or even better, they don't show that right away, right? Like the cold open for the season is like he's like chilling on the White House lawn, getting those good old sun rays, and a piano falls on his head, and we just cut to credits, and then it goes to the funeral, and it's open casket, and like it's his.
He's got the keys in his mouth.
Yeah, it's his wife and like I don't know, his assistant or whatever the other like guy is. And they're standing there, and the guy's like, well, we tried to do the best we could with the situation, but... And it cuts, and it's just...
It just some things.
It just shows him with his eyes closed, but, like, he has all the piano keys arranged like a smile, stuck in his mouth.
Yeah, show of the decade, I think.
I would give it all of the Emmys.
I'm picturing this. So he's in the White House, and there's a mouse. He's like, "Ooh, that mouse!" And he's chasing it, and he goes to the little hole in the wall where the mouse is living, and he's like sticking his eye in there, and the mouse like points a gun at his head and just blasts him.
Whoa!
And his face is just like blackened from the gunpowder, and he's dead.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah, I'd be into that. That slaps.
Yeah. Also, every time like something moves, like a horn plays to accentuate the movement.
Like that?
Yeah. Every time he steps, it's like wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Wow.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Kia, what's your favorite show?
Breaking Good.
Oh, what's that? Is that anything like
show.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, not quite. Is this show about this down and out of luck meth cook who discovers the love of chemistry and becomes a chemistry teacher?
Oh.
And he enriches the life of a young student.
Wow, that sounds like a much better version than the thing I watched.
Oh, what did you watch?
Well, I mean, much better for the people involved in the story. The show itself was probably better to watch. I'm talking about Breaking Bad, Kiorein.
Oh, Breaking Bad. That's a good show, too.
This sort of actually meshes well with our Walking Dead news because in line with that news about the Walking Dead movies, AMC is trying to milk another property, but this one's one that I like more, so I'm willing to let it slide.
Yeah, well, as long as Mr. Gilligan is in charge of the operation, I'm fine with it. Is he?
Yes, he is. They announced that there's going to be a Breaking Bad movie. I guess they haven't said it's made for TV, but I assume because the Walking Dead ones are, it would be too.
Is it weird that I called him Mr. Gilligan?
I just thought you were being like formal, polite.
No, I was being. What do you call it when you want someone to like you and you call them by a title that makes them seem better?
Ass kissing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Except he's not listening.
Well, we don't know that. Listen, Mr. Gilligan, if you're listening, give us a call.
Also, if you're listening, give Saul Goodman a sword.
Oh man, what if the promotional poster for season 5 was just like, it's just Bob Odenkirk like holding a sword like aloft, and it just says "Better Call Saul," and at the bottom it says he's got a sword.
I think it would get a lot more views.
Yeah, I think it would have to. People would want to know why he has a sword.
Even if you're not interested at all in the previous seasons, and you see that, you're going to be like, he's got a sword?
Yeah. And see, the way it would work, because, it'd be like a long, sort of slow process for him to get that sword.
How would it take? Like,
well, first he has to find the sword. First he has to find, like, the rock that the sword is stuck in.
So, this is Sword in the Stone now.
Well, yeah, of course.
And there's going to be scenes about him thinking about trying to take it out, but he just decides against it, I guess.
Well, at first he decides against it, but then, like, I don't know, something happens in, like, his relationship with Kim or something where, like, he feels a little, like, less masculine than usual, and he decides he's going to try and take it. But then he decides against it again. And then, like...
yeah, he goes up to the sword. And he kind of looks at it, and he has this, like, distressed look on his face. He's, like, thinking it over. He's, like, he shakes his head. He's, like, can't.
Well, see, the sword has, like, challenges that it has against you, like ghosts of your past that haunt you and tell you you're not good enough for the sword. So it's an excuse to bring Chuck back.
So he reaches for the sword, and he hears Chuck's voice, just like, "Can't do it, Jimmy.
You'll always be slipping, Jimmy." And he's like,
slip right off the handle.
He's like, "Ah!" He can't do it. And then the final episode of the season.
Wait. What if he reaches for the sword and it's like unbearably hot?
Oh, man. That's good. And the final episode of the season, he grabs the sword and he lifts it and he like holds it and like the sun shines down on him. And he looks at camera and says, "It's all good, man."
And then it just shows that it was just a commercial.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Gilligan, you're welcome.
Yeah, you better take that idea.
Anyway, as for this actual news item, Vince Gilligan is helming this Breaking Bad movie that is set in the existing franchise. The original quote was said that it follows the escape of a kidnapped man in his quest for freedom. And while it hasn't...
Who that could be.
Yeah, who could it be? It's probably Walter, right? It's probably
Yeah,
Walter White.
He was kidnapped by cancer, but now he's free from it because he's dead.
Correct.
Now he's in the afterlife, fending for himself.
The prevailing theory, and the one that's been sort of confirmed but not yet, is that it's going to be the story of what Jesse Pinkman has gotten up to since we last saw him.
Well, I guess I kind of care about that.
Yeah, that's something that I'm willing to at least watch.
I kind of like the ambiguous ending for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea. I'm assuming what this was a thing where Vince Gilligan had no interest in, like, not no interest. He had no, like...
Yeah, this has boardroom meeting written all over it.
This was a thing of, like, someone was like, well, what if we gave you a bunch of money to make a 2-hour movie set in this universe? And he's like, oh, I could probably come up with an idea for that.
It was probably more like, Vince, you are going to produce a 2-hour film for us, and we will give you a lot of money. And he was like, oh, all right, sounds good.
Yeah. Because he's a real, he's a real charming guy. If you ever listen to him talk, he's real agreeable.
Yeah.
He's currently signed on to be both the writer and executive producer of the project, so there's really no reason to not trust that he would make something bad.
Yeah, unless, like, there's more constraints on it that we don't know about. Like, he has, like, 3 months to complete it or something.
Oh, yeah, I guess if he's rushed, it'll probably be bad. Just with what I'm given the idea that it'll probably be okay. But let's say it's not about Jesse Pinkman. What would you want to see it actually be about?
Young Walter.
Hey, how young are we talking?
I'm thinking middle school.
So it's just Walter White living like probably getting, like, bullied all the time because he's a nerd.
Yeah, and we see him discover his love for chemistry, and there's a bunch of random out-of-place nods towards meth involved.
There can be a scene where, like, these bullies pick on him, and then he sees them outside later, and he goes up to him, and it'll be like that scene where he goes up to that one dude from, like, I think season 2 or whatever, where he yells at the one dude. Or no, it'll be like the scene where he goes up to Tuco. And he just, like, creates a makeshift bomb.
Somehow he's not expelled from school.
Well, it's off school grounds.
Oh, okay. He should do it at school. And he just gets, like, a chemistry award or something.
Yeah, his teachers love him. He has a principal who looks a lot like Saul Goodman and is played by Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, I imagine that in the press release we have we have Vince say he's just like, don't worry, all your favorite characters will be there.
Badger, Skinny Pete. It's just like them as babies. Doesn't even make sense.
They're middle school kids as well.
Jesse is also there as a middle school kid.
Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. It's young Walter.
Walt runs into his true love, Gretchen.
Oh man, that's gonna be tragic.
Anyway, I think what I would want is Walter White gets made into a cyborg.
Yeah, you'd want that to happen.
Yeah, and he has to go and track down Jesse.
Why?
To make meth.
He comes back to life and he's back to the meth thing.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like, because they programmed him to want to make meth, or just because that's what he wants anyway?
That's what he wants.
Oh, okay.
The heart wants what it wants, Kiorein.
You're right.
And like once he finally
made for meth.
Yeah, he was made for it. He was a meth machine, and now he's a literal meth machine.
Yeah,
and
makes
like
sense to me.
He meets up with Jesse, and he's like, "Jesse, I need your help to cook. I can't do it anymore. My hands, they're made of metal." Even though nothing happened to his hands that would like preclude it from.
And he has like these claw hands now that are like misshapen and.
Yeah, they're like crab claws.
Who did this to you, Mr. White?
I don't
know.
And it's revealed that it was Huel.
Mr. Babineau. I didn't know you were capable of this type of thing.
I got people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think your show is a little better than my idea.
I would watch. I like the idea of Heel having someone who knows how to do cyborg stuff, and Heel would probably have like a big speech about how like they left him alone in an office for hours at a time.
That's his dramatic backstory.
I had to get my revenge.
How is this even revenge?
I mean, I don't know. All right. This is all well and good, but, sometimes we like to sit on deck and enjoy ourselves a good old segment of Fact or Opinion. Hit the theme, me. Bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump.
Okay, well, on this week's Fact or Opinion, there's no competition. I'm just going to be gauging what Swanson thinks.
Yeah, all right, sure.
All right, so Fact or Opinion. Gears are the same thing as cogs.
Fact.
Okay, why do you think that, Swanson?
Well, a cog in the machine is the same thing as having a gear in it, isn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound the same, does it?
Well, sure, lots of things don't sound the same, but are the same.
Well, here's the thing, Swanson. If you say you're a gear in the machine, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess it sounds better than if you were like a cog in the machine, but
I mean, if
that's
you're
not
a
the
gear in
same.
the machine, that you think of it like, you're going to break without that gear. That gear is pretty cool. That's a cool gear. You're wrong, Swanson.
What? Okay.
So that's 1 point off for you.
Off?
Yeah.
1 point off
I
of
don't know
what?
Off of your lifespan.
Oh.
Yep.
Also,
So
what's
next-
1 point equal?
Well, you'll find out at the end. All right, fact or opinion. We do not need trees.
Opinion.
Why?
They make oxygen. They're like the leading producer of it.
No. Most of our oxygen comes from, like, the ocean or something.
What?
Well, I know a lot of it does.
Yeah, a good portion of it also comes from trees.
Yeah, but if we had no trees, other stuff would fill in the gaps for oxygen. We'd
Well,
be
also,
fine
if we
every
had no
tree
trees, our ecosystem would be, like, irrevocably fucked.
How?
Trees do a lot of stuff.
No, and what do we need the ecosystem for anyway? We're humans.
Because, like, we live off of it. And, like,
No.
around it and in it.
No, we live in buildings and tunnels and underground.
Underground is an ecosystem.
We live in the sky. We live in space stations.
What? Who lives in the sky?
You're down 2 points now, Swanson.
Well, who lives in the sky?
What do you think airplanes are, Swanson?
No one lives in an airplane.
Are you saying that once you get an airplane, you're dead, Swanson?
No, I'm saying no one lives in one. Just because
Okay.
you're in a place, you don't live in your car, Kiorein.
Well, actually, Swanson, I do.
Oh, well, that's very sad.
Yeah, well, thanks
Do
for
you-
rubbing it in. That's 2 points off.
What?
Yeah, so now you're down 3 points. All right, last question, Swanson. This is the only way you can make up part of your lifespan.
Okay.
You ready?
I guess.
Okay. Demons are good.
Opinion.
Okay, why?
Well, wouldn't it be... I mean, isn't it weird to say any one subset of anything is all good or all bad?
No, Swanson.
But-
All sugars are good. All hats are good.
Okay, well, that's patently false. All hats are not good. Are
Hey,
you using
name
a
one bad
Fisher's
hat.
Fisher hat?
Okay, that was a bad example.
That's a bad example, or hats were a bad example?
Hats were a bad example. All right, all clouds are good.
Damn, I can't argue that one.
All donuts are good.
Yeah.
All vests are good.
Okay, but demons are, like, arguably sentient creatures.
Arguably.
Well, I mean, I haven't encountered a demon, so I don't know.
They're basically pure coolness.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, so they're sentient creatures, so it's, like, kind of weird to classify them all as good or bad or anything.
So, let me ask you this. Would you say that you could find a bad angel?
Probably.
Where? Like, where's going to be a bad angel? Like, how would it be bad?
It'd be doing bad stuff, like smoking.
I can't imagine an angel smoking. That just doesn't register with me.
You don't think there's an angel out there somewhere who's smoking and probably littering while he smokes? He throws his butts just on the floor.
No, Swanson. They're good. See, that's why you're wrong, Swanson. Now you're 4 points down.
Oh yeah, what if I showed you a picture of an angel smoking?
All right, let's see it. Swanson, that's you.
Yeah.
Wait, is that why you have a halo?
Yeah, I'm surprised you hadn't commented on it earlier, but
I thought you were just dead.
Well, in a roundabout sort of way, yeah.
Okay, well, you're just 3 points off.
Ah, perfect.
So, you're gonna lose 20 years off your lifespan, buddy.
Well, I'm kind of already dead, but also immortals.
Well, I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'm gonna have to talk with God about this later.
Wait, you talked to God?
Yeah? You're an angel, don't you?
No. That guy's always too busy. He's in meetings.
Oh, I'm at the meetings.
What?
And I'm like, oh, God, check out this paperwork, blah, blah, blah. 10 million this, 10 million that. All this blood, all these skulls, blah, blah, blah. And
Why
he's
are
like,
you
yes,
in the
yes.
meetings?
I'm a really important person.
Are you a demon?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Wow, what a wacky duo we are.
That's pretty crazy.
All right, well, that's been Factor Opinion. Now it's time for another classic segment on this show. It's time for us to watch some trailers and talk about them. It's Trailer Blazers. Hit the theme.
Dun 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 dun.
Wow, that's a rollicking theme for Trailer Blazers.
Yeah.
That's right. Trailer Blazers is where we watch the latest and greatest in trailers. This week we watched the trailer for season 3 of True Detective, HBO's anthology show about detectives being accurate.
Yeah, so it was a slightly confusing trailer. We both walked away with it with different ideas of it, didn't we?
I think this might be bragging on my part, Kiorein, but I did read beforehand what the season of the show was going to be about. So,
oh, okay, Mr. Reader, here we are. This guy with his text and his books.
Well, they're more like articles because I read them online. But yeah,
well, you got those books too, Mr.
I mean, I have.
Bookman.
I do have a couple books, sure.
Oh, I have 0 books. I don't read. I'm illiterate, Swanson.
That's a problem.
Not for this podcast.
Well, no, because we don't read, but we talk with our words.
Well, I don't have to read anything to talk. Check it.
You got me there, pal. So the trailer for this has a guy. He's looking solemnly a lot.
He's seen a lot of crime, Swanson. He's looked at a lot of crimes happening, and he doesn't like it.
He's talking to like some investigators, and he gives like a speech where he's like, "I've seen some crime, but this was the most crime I've ever seen.
Usually I can handle crime, but this is too much crime.
I've seen a lot of crime in my days, but this was going to be the crime that made it the most crime that I'd ever seen."
Oh boy, I did not like this crime. This crime made me feel bad emotions. Crime related.
But yeah, we see him investigating this crime of, I guess, a missing child. That seems to be the idea.
I think it was like multiple missing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really bad.
I'm sure, given the past 2 seasons I've seen of the show, in which the first season was a cool detective story about a mass murderer, and the second one was a weird conspiracy story that also involved detectives, and this one's probably going to be some weird combination of the two, it looks like, because there's like a scene where he's in the thing together. The thing, yeah. He's in the room, whatever, and he's talking to that guy, and the guy's like, "You don't know what you don't see when you don't know it."
Yeah, that's what he said.
Or something close enough to that.
Something just as coherent as that, really.
And he like suddenly flashes, I guess, forward, and it shows like old man version of him, who's like
still puzzling over the same statement,
but like having trouble with his own memory, I guess, which could be cool.
Yeah, I didn't really know what this show was getting at, really. I guess since you read it, you have a better picture of it, but I can't really tell what the point of having the different time periods is.
I guess it's supposed to show, the idea, I imagine, is that it's showing the effect of the case over a period of time on this person. The fact that it weighs on him.
is the implication that he was not able to solve it, or just that it like just mentally damaged him?
That he's not able to solve it, I have to assume. Otherwise, there's not much of a story.
Does that mean he gets to solve it as an old man? Like he somehow finally figures it out?
Maybe, but spoilers for season 1 of True Detective, which had something similar to it, which was it followed Matthew McConaughey through 2 different eras of his life. It might not always end the way you think it's going to end for this person.
So he's going to fall down some stairs as an old man and die.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be tragic.
Yeah, probably.
And really stupid.
Yeah, but it seems fine, so I'll watch.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I mean, it's got crime in it, so...
Good hook. But
yeah,
wait.
We should make a show just called It's Got Crime.
I would watch that. Do you have any predictions for the season of the show?
Yeah, he's going to look directly at the camera and just say, crime. Yeah, I can't really predict anything. They didn't really show very much happening other than just like setting up the crime and showing that he was upset about it and that it spanned many years. I can't think of anything that could possibly happen, really.
My prediction is that it's gonna be revealed at the end that he was in on the crime and he didn't know that because what he didn't know was what he knew when he didn't know it.
Yeah, that sounds really sensible, Swanson.
Hey, look, when it happens, you can all come running to me because I'll be serving a big old heaping scoop full of I told you so.
Well, I'll gladly eat that.
It's a drink, dummy. You drink it.
You scoop a drink?
What, you never heard of a punch bowl?
Do you call that scooping?
Yeah, that's a scoop.
I would more call it like a spoon.
You spoon it?
Yeah.
Give me a spoon of that punch. You're a madman.
Or you could just say you serve it.
No, it's scoop. All right, we watched another trailer. This one for the 5th and final season of FX's You're the Worst.
It sure was something, wasn't it?
I've only watched the first season of the show. It's actually funnier than this trailer makes it seem. But those 2 characters are the worst, huh? They seem pretty bad.
Yeah, they seem pretty gross.
Yeah, this show seems to have a lot of gross things happening on it, which I don't remember it being necessarily that in the first season that I watched.
Yeah, I don't know. The show did not sell me on being funny, that's for sure.
Yeah. There's at least 2 separate incidences of people like having noisy, gross sex. And then also...
That's funny, right?
Well, yeah, who doesn't laugh at the sight of 2 people awkwardly porking?
I imagine when people do have awkward, gross sex, they're just laughing during it because it's funny.
I mean, I would have to assume. What else would you do?
I mean, you could also try to get off, but I think more likely you'd just be laughing.
Well, hold on. Are you saying you can't get off while you're laughing?
I think it would pose some challenges.
It sounds like you got some problems of your own to sort out, Kiorein. This guy can't laugh during sex.
Are you saying you have? Like, you've just been, like, laughing. Like, just having a good old laugh. And
every time.
What are you laughing at?
Just the world.
Swanson, this sounds highly disturbing.
There's nothing disturbing about it. I tell my partner, look away, and then I laugh.
And does your laugh sound like your laugh at the beginning of this episode?
Yeah, but it's deeper. It's like a
Yeah, you might want to get some help, buddy.
I don't need your opinions on me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You take your stupid opinions and you put them in your pocket, Kiorein.
Okay, I will. Oh, here they go.
Yeah, this trailer was a lot of, like, gross jokes. I mean, the centerpiece of this trailer, at least for the ending, is a lady getting some enjoyment from a bidet.
Yeah, she was really into that.
I've never personally used a bidet, so maybe it is actually enjoyable. I don't know. I'm gonna say probably really weird.
Yeah, I think I'd probably feel violated or something.
Well, I mean, I guess if you go into it knowing that you're using a bidet, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, that was that was the trailer for You're the Worst. Looked fine.
I would not watch it.
But you know what we did watch, Kiorein?
Uh-oh.
That's right. It's time for us to talk about CBS All Access's new show that I'm sure everyone's real excited about. Tell Me a Story.
People all around the world are cheering for this show.
That's all I've heard is people talking about this show that's on this streaming service that no one wants.
They won't shut up about it. It's so annoying. We had to watch it. It was just a buzz everywhere.
It was demanded of us.
Yeah, there was this man with a cleaver, and he was just outside of the studio here.
And he was in a pig mask.
Yeah, and he sang a nursery rhyme to us and told us we had to watch this, or he was gonna. I don't know. There was some kind of threat. Do you think he was gonna hit us with the cleaver or what?
I guess. I don't know. I thought I guess that would be the next logical choice. I just thought he was gonna like go to the deli or something.
Maybe he was gonna get us like a nice ham.
Yeah, and like tenderize it for us.
Yeah, maybe that was why he had that.
And like slice off some bits for us to eat. Anyway, Okay, so right off the bat, before we even talk about what happens on the show itself, this is a show where just reading the premise is enough to make you say, "Oh, that's a bad idea." Like, there should not be an executive who listened to this pitch and was like, "Oh, that needs to be a show right now."
Well, I'm sorry, Swanson, but somebody up there does not have high standards.
So let me read this quote of what the premise of the show is, all right? Tell Me a Story takes the world's most beloved fairy tales and reimagines them as a dark and twisted psychological thriller. Set in modern-day New York City, the first season of this serialized drama interweaves the three little pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, and Hansel and Gretel into an epic and subversive tale of love, loss, greed, revenge, and murder.
Oh boy.
That sounds objectively awful.
Yeah,
Who's asking for this?
Not only that, but like it's a gritty reboot and a crossover.
Yeah, it's like it's a hodgepodge of everything bad in current like entertainment.
It's like you have no original ideas, so you're gonna take every like free domain kid story, but also make it a gritty, dark reboot and a crossover.
The Three Little Pigs and the Little Red Riding Hood thing feels like someone was like, "Oh, there's wolves in both of those."
And Hansel and Gretel, that's a story.
Throw them in too. Why not? They're in the woods, just like Little Red Riding Hood.
Same setting, same universe. We're gonna make an extended universe out of this.
And what's the modern day woods but New York City, the concrete jungle?
Oh my god! Somebody probably said that.
I guarantee you, in the meeting, somebody said that. The next problematic thing I realized was that this series is created by Kevin Williamson, who created, well, among things that you don't care about, he created the movie franchise Scream and the late 90s, early aughts teen heartthrob show Dawson's Creek. But in terms of stuff that you would remember, Kiorein, he created the show Stalker.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know, that really great show about a bunch of ladies who get murdered. It's just murderers.
Yeah, they called it Stalker, but it was really just murderer who stalked first.
Which, like, I have to assume a lot of murderers do.
Yeah, especially ones who target random women.
So we're off to a good start with this guy right off the bat. So into the show itself, we get some really long opening credits.
Well, they got to really sell this extended universe with all these drawings.
I counted.
The kid stories look real spooky.
I looked at the runtime. It's 2 minutes on these opening credits. What? That's too long.
This is a very important show. That's why it has such a long opening.
Even in like the era of like Netflix having like opening credits that are like longer opening credits, that's too long.
Especially for this hodgepodge of a show.
So we open up on this guy. I guess this guy's knocking on this dude's door, and we cut to this guy, and he's got a "fuck you" tattoo on him, and you can tell that he's a rebel. And he
yeah, he's like hungover, I guess.
And he answers the door, and this dude's like, "Oh, you sure you're ready for this heist, man? We're gonna be doing some big old action stuff."
But, we made sure to establish you as a character before we went into this, so that, the viewers would have something to latch onto.
Yeah, we established that he's a character by showing him shirtless, which happens a lot in this show. I'll get to that in a sec. And deciding that his house is kind of messy, that's a character trait, sure.
He's got a leaky roof. He's not responsible.
So this guy gives him like the bag for what he needs for this thing they're doing, and he opens it, and there's a pig mask inside. Ooh, look at 3 little pigs. Oh, they're gonna do 3 little pigs. Ooh. Yeah. And then we don't see these guys until like the end of the episode again. They don't show up for another 40 minutes.
Chekov's pigs.
So what we get after that is an introduction to all of the characters at once. We get like this.
That's my main complaint with this show, is that they just decided to just like boomerang us around with all these characters at once, and there's like no focus, what were they thinking?
They were like, we got a lot of characters we need to introduce. What better way to do it than quick, like, I don't know, 5-second shots of each of them as they walk past each other on the street or something?
Yeah.
Like, this gives me a real glimpse into their lives, and they're, like, they also walk on the street. They're just like me.
It's like these people are going to be involved with each other in the near future.
So we cut to a man and his wife, and they're watching the news.
Oh, how topical!
And the wife asks in a quote that I wrote down, "What's up in Trump?" Or no, sorry, this is the husband. He asks, "What's up in Trump America?"
That's what we call it here in liberal town, Trump America.
Yeah, these are just 2 white suburban liberals they're not suburban, they live in New York. The white liberals who probably live in a place that got gentrified like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
I'm thinking 3 years ago.
Yeah, probably. It's probably Manhattan. Or maybe like Brooklyn. Anyway, yeah, they're chatting it up. We get like some good character talk between them because like we see that she took a pregnancy test and he's worried about it.
Ooh, relationship drama.
Also, this dude straight up gets butt naked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of butts on this show.
Almost immediately.
Yeah. This show just has like constantly dudes butts all over the place.
They made sure to give us the dude's butt like first episode so we knew what it was like going forward.
Like, not lots of dudes butts, but also like lots of dudes in tight underwear later. Just lots of dude stuff. And like, look, I'm all for it, but like, wow. I wish it was in a better show.
I don't know why they needed to front load the show with that though.
Well, it's backloading.
Oh.
It'd be a front load if we saw his dick.
They can't show that.
Can't show that donger. Not on a streaming service, I guess.
I'm pretty sure they can show whatever they want, but they won't because they're CBS.
They're cowards. Show me the dick, CBS.
Show me the dick dong.
Show me that dick dong. If you agree with us, use the hashtag show me that dick dong.
Do it now.
So then we cut to a girl. She's rummaging through stuff in her house because she's like moving, and a guy shows up and he's like, "If you're looking for the weed, I got rid of it."
you're a troubled teen, and yeah, we're establishing that right now.
You're a troubled teen, and I'm your father, even though I'm like maybe 20 years younger than you.
So yeah, that's where we're at here, and we're gonna see you do stuff for a little while. It's gonna be interesting, probably.
Yeah, we get like there's some comment of like he mentions her grandma, and she gets downstairs, and her grandma's there, and her grandma calls her a slut. But like in a fun, cheerful way, you know.
Yeah, it's an endearing kind of slut talk.
Well, the grandma's like, "Oh, you're a slut, just like me." Like, what? I guess they're supposed to be like, "Oh, this is a cool grandma."
Yep.
But they've immediately doomed this grandma because this is so bad. This is so bad. I audibly yelled when this happened at my computer screen. It's raining outside, so the grandma's like, "Oh, you know what you need? You need a coat." And she takes out a red hood. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Oh, it's just like little river.
Do you? Hey, Kiorein.
What?
It's just like Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, just like Little Red Riding Hood.
Do you get it? That's the extent of all of these. Like, once we get into the Hansel and Gretel stuff, which is the most obtuse of all of them, because I didn't figure it out until, like, I didn't figure it out until, like, halfway through, when it became blatantly obvious. Well, they do, we'll get to it, actually, when we get to that point in the plot, I guess, but, like, actually, I think we're getting to it right now, huh? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the Hansel and Gretel stuff is the gay kid and his, like, roommate or whatever, right? Who dance at this club, which, I cannot wait to talk about this club.
Oh my god. Okay, so they're like dancers who are, I guess, for the gay crowd. And so they go backstage and they just start doing cocaine off of each other. Just immediately, just real casual.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do at these clubs, man.
Did you laugh out loud at that too, or was it I alone?
Oh no, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And once again, this is another example of just these dudes hanging out in tight underwear, pretty much doing cocaines right off their rock hard cocks.
They were doing these scenes for like a prolonged period of time.
Yeah. But yeah, we get like this club scene happens because the Red Riding Hood lady meets a friend at high school, and she invites her to go out to her to a club, as you do, I guess.
Can we talk about their discussion on the internet beforehand?
Sure.
So the classmate friends Little Red, and immediately sends a message as soon as she accepts, like instantaneously, like he was waiting.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
And it says, "What's up?" And she replies, "Bored. You?" And then instantaneously she responds, "You got a fake ID?"
Well, turns out she does.
Yeah, and it just cuts to her like getting ready to leave to go to the club.
Are you saying you've never had a conversation online with someone like that, Kiorein?
Well, a few times when I was an edgy teen, it did happen.
You
just
got a fake
3-sentence conversation with somebody I barely know.
Could you imagine you like it's your first day in high school, in a new town, and you meet this cool person, and then like they friend you later, and you're like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, and then they immediately text you, "You got an ID?"
Just like intense out of nowhere, just like
what's up? It's like all caps.
It's like, "What's up? Bored. You got a fake ID?"
It's like, are you
go to the hardcore club downtown? We're gonna take drugs and drink.
I was worried that, like, I'd be worried you were a cop with how quick the turnaround is.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, want to go do some crime together, fellow high school student.
Now I got a little confused because there are so many generic white guys on this cast. The guy whose wife is the the guy whose wife and is like the Trump lady or whatever. Is he the guy who hires Red Riding Hood's dad?
I have no.
There are just so many generic white dudes on this show that they all blended together. I started getting
confused too, and I was scared it was just me.
You thought you were being like racist or something?
Yeah.
No, I was also very confused by all of these like very same looking white men.
Okay, good.
But yeah, we get like a really, it's not even it can't even be described as a subplot because it's like happens for a scene and then it's dropped and then never gets brought up again. Which is this dad gets like a job at like a restaurant, I guess, and like I guess that's why they moved away. I don't know. It's never actually explained.
I'm sure it'll come up again. I'm sure it'll be important.
Well, that would imply that I would want to watch any more of the show.
That's a tall order, isn't it?
It's a very tall order. I would need like a tall order of like, I don't know, bourbon in order to watch another episode of this show.
You drink like a tall glass of hard liquor to get through this.
Yes, a very tall glass of the hardest liquor imaginable, which I guess isn't bourbon, but just a big old glass of moonshine. Yeah. So this the liberal couple is at their house, they have like a party or whatever, right, with a bunch of other people I don't care about.
Yeah, it's like a dinner, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have like a brief 2-minute politics discussion."
Yeah, because this show really wants to tackle the issues, and by tackle the issues, I mean say them out loud.
And it really wants to date itself and put itself at a very specific point in time.
Yeah, one that we've actually passed by the time this has come out.
Yeah.
I guess in a manner of speaking. Because, like, the things they're watching on the television are things that happened months ago. Which is the problem with, like, trying to do that kind of issue. Because, like, there are ways to tackle current issues that aren't just, like, this.
Putting actual CNN news clips on the TV.
Yeah. So here's a question I have for you, Kiorein. What's this wife's job? Is she like a paid protester? Because the only thing we see her do outside of like argue with her husband is go to a protest.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, they argue about why she doesn't want to have the kid, and this is you know what, Kiorein, this is just some of my favorite dialogue in television right here, boy. Because you know what they're doing? They're doing my favorite thing.
What?
They're saying how they feel with like exactly the exact words. They're not sugarcoating it in any way. They're just straight up saying, "I'm afraid to have children because of guns."
Well, you know, that's what I would say. If I was about to advocate, I'd be like, nope, it's going to get shot. It's going to be dead. It's going to be bloody dead on the ground at school. It's going to be dead, shot, dead, dead, dead.
Yeah, and this is great because I love when characters on a television show just say point blank how they feel.
Yeah, and the guy's like, I don't like this. I need you to say something else than that because I want to have kids with you because I want to get married. We were supposed to get married.
Yeah, I guess they're not actually married. I was saying they were earlier, but yeah, they're not. Because he keeps talking about some like plan, you know, a thing that like white people do, where they're like, let's have a plan for like our life.
Yeah, we got to plan everything out. You got to have a calendar.
Yeah, you got to have at least a 5-year calendar that you circle days on where you're like, this is the day we get married. This is the day you conceive.
Do you have a calendar, Swanson?
I do not have a calendar, unless you count the one on my phone, which I don't use.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. You got to plan everything out.
Nah, man, I'm loosey-goosey. I go with the flow.
All right, check this out, Swanson. Here's my calendar.
Okay, this is a textbook.
Okay, and?
I'm just saying, like, this is like... I mean, it's obviously a calendar, but, like, it's very thick. How much planning have you done?
Crack it open, random page.
2055?
Mm-hmm. Open up the entry for March.
Okay.
Do March 14th.
Of this year?
2055.
Oh, okay. Eat sandwich.
All planned, Swanson.
I mean, I don't think you really need the plan to eat a sandwich.
I'm going to eat that sandwich, and you know what? I'm going to love it because I planned it, Swanson. Get a calendar. Make me sick.
It even says what kind of cheese on it. Wow. How do you know you're going to have all this stuff still?
I planned out when I'm going to buy the stuff.
Well, I mean, things can change, Kiorein.
Swanson, year 2055, I'm going to have a whole stockpile of all the stuff I need built up. I'm gonna do that in the year 2040.
Do you? Okay, yeah, all right, sure. Why not?
You seem a little rattled.
I guess I'm just, man. You have so much of your life planned out.
And Swanson, do not look at February 25th, 2042.
Why?
Just don't, okay?
All right.
There's no... Don't worry about it. There's no, like, conspiracy or anything.
What?
I'm not planning anything.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
Oh, yeah, well, don't worry about it.
Okay. So,
you seem like you want to look.
I mean, I kind of do, yeah.
Well, don't. Give it back.
Oh, all right.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're watching a show, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, yeah, the man wanted to plan out, like, getting married and having a kid, and...
Yes, and his
Trump
wife...
America just rattled her so much.
Yeah, she goes on a thing about how, like, bringing a child into the world just means it's going to get murdered. It's like guns. Which, I mean, that's not an inaccurate statement.
I mean, it's not very likely that your kid will die from gun violence, but it's still, like...
I mean, it's pretty likely at this point.
It should be.
Yeah.
I can kind of relate to being, like, worried about that. Like, not wanting to have a kid because you can imagine being scared every day that something's going to happen, but...
Yeah, I guess that's relatable in some aspect of, like, why I would never want children. But, like, oh boy.
We do not need this from these characters we do not care about.
Yeah, it's a weird issue to bring up for these characters that we don't care about, especially how this ends, which we'll get to. But then we get to my favorite moment in this episode. It's time for the club, Keo.
Oh, here we go.
And yeah, so we get to this. We get to this place that her friend, that Red Riding Hood's friend calls the Club of the Moment, which looks like the rave from Matrix Reloaded. Like it's just
this is what clubs are like, Swanson. They're crazy.
It looks like it came out from like the 90s. What is this club? Like the people are in cages dancing around like the 90s, and like a bunch of like old rave music is playing.
Okay, well, do you want to? The thing about that is, what is a rave actually like? I've never actually seen what they're actually like. What?
Well, yeah, I've never actually been to a rave. I don't think. I guess you would know if you're in a rave. I think you would know. So,
what if this was accurate? That's the thing that gets me about these crazy TV raves. Is what if they're just accurate depictions of what they're like?
I guess the only way to know for sure is to go to one.
Some rave research.
Yeah. Take a notebook. Go on down to the rave. You know, the weekly rave that happens in your town.
Okay, but you know what genuinely shocked me about this whole rave sequence of this show?
What?
Is that it somehow didn't end horribly for anyone involved.
Oh, okay, so we're going to talk about the guy... Because if we're going to talk about the guy, I have some notes.
Yes.
So,
please.
They go to the bar, and Riding Hood notices this guy who is giving her a murderer's stare.
In like a stalker circle, like he's like lurking around like a predator.
I cannot get over this dude's face when he first gets shown on camera. He looks like he just got back from murdering someone.
Yeah, like he's like on the murderer's high and he's looking for his next victim already and he's staring.
He is piercing her with his gaze and like it looks like he killed someone, was like, oh man, I gotta clean up and go to the club. And he is staring her down. And her friend's like, oh, he's cute. Like, no, he's a murderer. Stay away.
But somehow he's not. Somehow he's actually a great guy.
Yeah, like, I thought he was going to be the wolf. Isn't that how this works? I guess
they're subverting our expectations, maybe. But or do you think that they just legitimately could not tell that was horrifying?
I don't know. I guess, like, maybe he's gonna be the wolf later. I don't know. Or maybe there's like two. Maybe the wolf for the little pigs and for the Little Red Riding Hood is the same. I don't know.
I cannot tell, but either way, the way they framed this guy was just like out of like a horror movie, basically. But
well, yeah, because later she's on the dance floor and he's just walking around her, making eye contact, never breaking.
Yeah, like a total sociopath.
Keo, are we sure this just isn't how you pick up ladies?
Oh man, like maybe it is. Like you just have to just stare intensely, and they're just gonna be like, "Ooh."
No smile. This guy does not smile.
But yeah, so they're dancing and he disappears, and he's at the bar. So she finds him, and he's just like, "Nick."
Yeah. He doesn't waste any time. He doesn't even say I'm. He's just, Nick. And she's like, oh, I'm whatever my name is.
She's like, Nick, let's go to your house and make the sex happen.
Let's do the sex times with our organs.
And he's like, yes, we will be making the sex.
This dude looks like he needed to return some tapes. He's Patrick Bateman and a half.
But somehow he's not.
Somehow he's perfectly fine, I assume.
You think there's going to be a twist where he's not? Because at this point, I'm not seeing any actual sign of it. I think they were just confused on how to depict him. Maybe they changed their mind.
Like he was going to be a bad guy, but then they were like, you know what? Nah.
That's too predictable. We have to make him actually a nice person.
Yeah. Oh, I guess he could be... Who's the person who saves Little Red Riding Hood, like the huntsman or whatever?
Yeah, the lumberjack? Well, yeah. I don't even know.
The lumberjack. The lumberjack comes down through the forest and chops the big old wolf in half.
I guess it was the huntsman, but for some reason, lumberjack comes down.
Yeah, I guess they're probably setting him up to be the huntsman or whatever. Which... Bad job.
You do not introduce him by being this stalker depth gaze man.
Yeah, now it makes total sense why this guy made Stalkers as well as this show. So then we get back to the gay guys, the Hansel and I guess the Gretel. I think the lady who shows up later is anyway. They're having a good old time meeting a friend of one of his roommate and. They're doing coke, I guess, and they're having a fun time.
Yep.
And this guy's getting like
good old
real
gay old fun time.
And his friend is like stealing money from the guy that they're visiting, and it gets into an altercation. Gets pushed over and hits his head on the table. And he pulls an old Chuck and hits his head on the table. Dies. Yeah, he just dies. Maybe he had some sort of condition, Kiorein. Don't judge.
Well, I guess that you kind of have to die from that, especially so quickly, right?
I would have to assume, like, it's not even a minute.
I mean, maybe we're a little uneducated on concussive head injuries, but I don't think it's very likely you die from a fall like.
Yeah, especially not that quick.
He's just like, thunk. Oh, he's dead.
And naturally his roommate runs away because he can't deal with the consequences. The best part about this scene is that he calls his, I guess, sister. We don't get any connection about these two at all. She just shows up. And she's like, I can't believe you never called me, but you call me for this. We have some sort of relationship.
You may learn about this later, but not in this episode.
Gotta keep watching. Subscribe to CBS All Access.
Smash that like button.
But like, so this is where I figured out it was Hansel and Gretel, because they cut as he calls to her watching someone on television make a candy house or like a gingerbread house.
Oh my god, really? I totally missed that.
Yeah, there's someone on television making a gingerbread house, and I was like, oh my god.
Are you kidding me?
And then my mind played back something that I had heard in passing and didn't think about, which is when he's introduced, the kid, and he's talking to his roommate, he says that their landlord is a real witch.
Oh my god.
This show is terrible.
They're just forcing it so hard.
Do you get it, Keo?
Also,
Keo, do you get it? It's like Hansel and Gretel.
Also, did we talk about... Oh, I guess we didn't get to that part. But Little Red has a tattoo.
Of a wolf? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we cut back to Little Red after they've had the sex. And this... Oh, my God. This is another... We get another butt. As this dude is, like, lying off of the mattress.
But for some reason, Little Red is tastefully covered with a blanket.
Yes. Like, can you describe... Keo, I want you to take a moment and describe to me how exactly this dude's positioning as he's just sort of like flirtily like lying around makes any sense.
They wanted to make sure that you could see his butt, but you couldn't see any of his sexual organs.
Cause like he's lying on his front, but like off of the mattress. His bottom bottom half is off the mattress, and his torso is just like on the mattress.
Yeah, we wanted to get a good shot of that. That's a total fan service shot.
And let me tell you, tell me a story. More like show me that donger. Come on.
Yeah, they're too scared to show it, Swanson. Cowards.
Show me that ding dong.
Hashtag CBS cowards. Hashtag show me that dick dong.
But yeah, we get they have a conversation where he's like, "Oh, you got this tattoo. What's that all about?" She's like, "It's a wolf, because that means something to me."
Lone wolf is like an important thing. It was like a tribal whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting. Wolf thing. I'm Little Red Riding Hood.
He's like, "Wow, that's really interesting. You're hot." And she's like, "What? No, I gotta leave."
Telling about what that tattoo meant to her was very emotional. She was like, "Oh, I gotta go now.
I've shared too.
And I need to be a loner. So goodbye."
Bye.
He's like, "Wait, hold on. We just had consensual sex. I don't want to have continued consensual sex with you in the future."
Yes, that's exactly how he words it too. "Oh man, we just had really good consensual sex."
I'm really shocked that encounter ended with consensual sex. Aren't you?
I'm extremely shocked. Extremely.
And he's completely respectful and not pushy at all and lets her leave. He's not a creeper at all, apparently. I don't get it.
He's totally fine. Except it turns out that he had one little problem, which is that he didn't ask for her age.
Yeah, I guess he assumed that since she was in a place where they asked for ID, that
That's a problem.
Was, 21.
Can't do that.
Nope, he's in trouble.
Which we'll get to. I guess we can get to that now, but
it doesn't really matter, the chronology. These stories are not intertwined at all, so...
Yeah. So, the end of Little Red Riding Hood's little story here, and like the big like cliffhanger for her thing is she goes to the class the next day, and there's a substitute teacher. And we can already tell from the voice who it is. And like, she looks up and... Gulp!
It's him!
It's him! And he looks up and he's like, oh... And he's wearing glasses now because he's a sophisticated teacher boy.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah, I think he straight up does like a gulp.
That ain't good.
As for Hansel and Gretel, Hansel calls Gretel. Gretel comes over. They have like a weird thing where... What they eventually decide to do is just a slightly better version of what his friend did, which is run away.
Yeah, it was just like...
They wipe all their prints,
okay,
make sure everything's good, and they run away.
We're going to wipe down fingerprints real quick. Hopefully we get all of them. Probably won't in a realistic world, but we're going to try.
And also, like, We're on at least 5 different cameras, and we're looking directly into them for some reason, but it's fine.
We're not going to be suspects.
No, we look like we totally fit in here.
And let's just go ahead and take his phone with us, because that'll stop them from finding out about the phone calls.
It's not like they can trace that.
Yeah, it's not like the police can't just check the record.
Yeah, it's a profoundly stupid misunderstanding. I never realized Hansel and Gretel were so dumb. I guess that makes sense, though. They did sort of get locked in a candy house.
Yeah, I mean, not the brightest kids.
Yeah, they're pretty dumb. So we get the last little bit here where we find out what the deal is with these liberals. Like, what story are they telling? You know, what kind of urban fairy tale are they getting mixed up in? And we find out exactly what kind of fairy tale they're getting mixed up in, because they go to this rally. I guess like the wife convinces him to go to this like protest, right?
Yeah. So they go, and it's a very brief protest.
They go, they listen to a lady make like a speech that is 2 sentences long. And then they're like, oh, good protest, huh? Do it again sometime.
That's what it's like in the real world, too.
Yep, yeah, protests just last for 2 whole minutes.
And that's why they don't do anything half the time.
That's right. And then you like sort of stand in traffic for a bit.
Yep.
It's a good time. Yeah, I love it. But during this rally, Keo, I don't know if you noticed this.
I didn't, so you're gonna have to tell me.
They were wearing pig masks. Like people in the rally were wearing pig masks.
Uh-oh.
And we see those pig mask boys rush past these two later. And ain't that something?
Ooh, that's really something.
Also, we see them rush past the 2 of them, but the 2 of them make it to the store where they're robbing before them.
They were rushing to get something that they needed to do the robbery with.
Which apparently wasn't a getaway car. So, after this very short protest, these 2, this wife, or this lady is so happy that he went to this protest with her that she wants to look for engagement rings. Problem solved immediately. This is how people work.
Yeah, you go to a protest and the marriage problems are solved.
And he's like thrilled. He's like, oh, this solves all of our issues, even though we didn't talk about them.
Yeah, I mean,
we just vaguely stared in each other's direction.
She sorted them, and now it's solved. Now they're going to get married. It's going to be such a happy story. It's going to be so happy, Swanson.
Oh, it's going to be so happy. Nothing bad could ever possibly happen. Oh, wait. These pigs show up. They're huffing and a puffing.
They've got guns.
Yeah, these pigs got guns. And they're robbing this jewelry store for some reason.
The lady gets shot. She's shot.
Yeah, so this whole sequence is dumb. These pigs show up. They rob this jewelry store. There's this like guard who has his gun, and he
really wants to be a hero. This guard.
Yeah, what a dummy. And he takes his gun out. He gets murdered. His gun fires off. The pigs leave. This lady.
And the lady gets hit in the crossfire.
Oh no. This lady gets got.
Yeah, and they reveal it slightly late. She's just grabbing at her stomach, which is bloody, and she just dies.
Yeah, she's just dead. There's nothing that can be done for her. Like, at least with the cop, or the guard, it's understandable. He got shot 3 times in the chest.
Yeah, but she got a gut shot, and she just dies.
She's just dead.
People just easily die in this world, I think.
Well, it's a television thing, Keo. 1 shot and you're dead.
You fall over, hit a coffee table, and you're dead.
This is very fragile people. My favorite part about this scene, it's dumb. It's so dumb. The dumbest part is when the guy goes to check on the cop who is lying in a pool of blood, and he checks his pulse.
Yeah, he could survive being shot in the heart.
He's been shot 3 times, and he's like in a huge pool of blood, and he's just like, "Oh, come on, man!"
He's completely lifeless. I don't know if he actually got shot in the heart, but he had 3 chest shots, like Right
square, yeah, square in like the rib, or not the rib, square in like the sternum.
Yeah, he's dead.
But yeah, so his wife dies and he just like screams. Like he gives like a primal like wolf scream. Oh.
Ooh. I wonder what that could be.
Well, we'll never find out because that's the end of this shit show.
Okay, do you want to hear a confession, Swanson?
It better not be that you actually like this show.
Well, I didn't like it, but I was thoroughly entertained the entire time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. This was a show that was like bad enough that I was baffled to continue watching. Like even
yeah, it was it was your quintessential so bad it's good.
Yes. Like even we've watched bad shows on the program before. The Neighborhood, Insatiable, those are probably the two worst ones before this. And like both of those weren't really so bad that I want to keep watching.
Yeah,
like
but this show that they just show you this ham-fisted fairy tale thing. You're just like, what?
And then they keep adding stuff on it. There's like this ridiculous club scene, everything with this liberal couple. It's baffling, and like if you want to watch something just to laugh at it, sure, go ahead. But I can't in good heart actually recommend it.
I'm going to recommend it wholeheartedly. Just watch the entire season that I haven't watched.
Well, that's the thing, Keo. This the way CBS All Access works is it doesn't just throw everything all at once. You have to watch this weekly.
Wow, what an attractive service.
What an attractive streaming service. It's just like network television, but you pay for it more. I guess not as much as you would pay for network TV. Anyway.
But you're not going to replace network TV with this, though.
Well, no, that would be insane. Oh, they got Tell Me a Story. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's going to satisfy my TV fix for the year.
All right. Well, that sounds like a tune out for Tell Me a Story. And that'll about do it for this week's episode. Now, if you got any quips, comments, questions, foresights, or otherwise that you'd want to send to us, we do have an email address. And you can send that email to us at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that, Keo? What's that email?
Oh, I was going to say, you better get in this helicopter because we're leaving.
Oh, why are we leaving the studio?
Because we're done here. And the email is tvhelicopter@gmail.biz.
Oh, well, hold on. Stairmaster's coming in right now, so I'm going to set this charge of explosives so it looks like I died.
Okay.
That'll fool him.
You're going to edit in a helicopter sound here?
Sure, why not? I'm also on Twitter. You can find me at Jesse Swanson.
I'm on Twitter as well at Real Kiorein.
And you can find the show on Twitter at TV Tuners. You can also use the hashtag TV Tuners, and we'll give a glance at what you're saying.
You can also use the hashtag ShowMeThatDickDong, and we'll retweet it. Guaranteed.
Yes, for sure. How can we not?
It would be a crime if we didn't.
We're on all of your favorite podcatchers. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Play, Google Play, all of them.
Sleepies.com.
Yeah, we're on sleepies.com, the main page. If we're not there, send them an angry email asking why we're not. And you can drop a review. Not at Sleepies. They don't have that set up. You can drop a review, give us 5 stars, all that good stuff. Really helps getting the podcast out there. Tell a friend.
If you are writing a mattress review, you can mention us in the review. You can say that you listen to the show while you're going to bed.
Yeah, that really helps.
Say we're the sleepiest podcast in America.
Yeah, I want that title. But yeah, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with more TV goodness. Till then, keep watching. Bye.
Bye.
It's over.
I found him.